Cage Minds, Micah Frankel, and right now we're joined by Andreas the Bully Quintana. Sir, how you doing on quarantine?
I'm doing well, just, kind of hanging out, training here and there where I can, doing a lot of home routines, catching up on a lot of housework, I guess you can say.
Really? What have you been doing?
Just I had recently bought a new house in October, so kind of just laying out my garage and setting everything up, like my game room, my actual bedroom. Just it's a lot of work, moving and settling into a new house. Decorating here and there and getting new furniture.
Oh, so this actually gave you a little bit of time for some things you had been meaning to get to.
Exactly. In training camp, I feel like I can't really get too much.
Right, it's so ultra focused on your schedule, on your routine at that point.
Yeah, basically in training camp, all I do is eat, sleep, and train. Honestly, I'll watch a movie here and there, but I don't really have much time. But other than rest, I'm so drained from being at the gym all day that I don't have enough energy to be working on the garage or working anywhere else.
And I know you normally training 4 times a day. How have you handled not training that often?
My body probably could use the rest, so it's okay. It's not too big of a deal. I miss the gym a lot. I miss training and being in the gym and being competitive and seeing all my teammates and us working together and sharpening each other. But, a lot of people probably did need the rest because for the most part, I don't really take much of a break, a week or two maybe, but then I jump right back into training, even though if it's not 100% full on training, but I'm still steady in the gym and, kicking back and trying to learn new things and still doing, my workout routines.
And now, have you went to a couple sessions? Have you done anything?
Yeah, here and there. Nothing too crazy. Obviously we're in lockdown and stuff, but a week or two ago went to go help Cowboy in a sparring session with a couple of other teammates, and that was really cool to get away from my house for a while. Go check out his ranch. I've been there a couple times, but it was at night, and I was able to see a lot more of it today. For that day, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Now, when you go out there, obviously, you're giving him some looks to mimic Pettis, right?
Of course.
What was that like?
It was fun. It was interesting. He had went 4 rounds, and he had brought 3 guys in, and I went the second round, and he chose me for the 4th round, so I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if he thought if I was a good look or if I was the easiest guy and he wanted to take it easy. So I'm not too sure how that went out.
And were there any things that... Was it awkward for you trying to do Pettis? Because you have a lot more boxing. He has a lot more Taekwondo in his style. Were you doing things to try to change up your normal style then?
Yeah, I just focused more on kicks, a lot more kicks, trying to be kick heavy. And I was just trying to throw a lot more punches to the body. I'd still use my boxing here and there because Pettis does have decent, straight punches, pretty good straight punches. He's a powerful hitter. Just kind of trying to disguise some different kicks and, throw as much and simulate Pettis as much as possible, try and switch to southpaw as much as I could. So I felt like it went pretty well.
Was it awkward kind of jumping into a sparring session after a couple weeks there would seem like off of training?
Oh, yeah. So I had learned that I was going to go spar Cowboy like on a Tuesday, I believe. And I learned on Sunday, and I was going to go spar him on Tuesday. So the next day, on Monday, I hit up one of my friends. Like, hey, come hold mitts for me so I could, see if my timing's still good, get back in the groove a little bit.
And how bad was the cardio? How bad were those 2 rounds on the lungs?
Not too bad. Of course, I was a little bit out of shape, but, I feel like I'm a relatively healthy person, and I stay in pretty good physical shape. So I was able to hang in the both rounds pretty well.
Now, we also saw that there's been a point in this quarantine where you went back to the YouTube channel, started doing some vlogging. What was the inspiration there?
Honestly, kind of just boredom. Doing some stuff in my game room. Might as well throw it on and seeing how everyone's doing in quarantine, and just get someone to keep updated on my life and get some to my fans.
And now I know for you, if you don't know Andreas, you may not seem it, but comic books, video games, another huge part of his life. What was that like for you getting your setup, everything that you wanted there put together for your game area?
It's really fun. You know, I got like a screen setup monitor. I stream on Twitch. I stream my Twitch name's Andres Q MMA. So if you guys want to come check it out and hang out with me, download your Twitch app or jump on the internet and come hang out. I usually stream Monday through Fridays around 10ish. So you guys come hang out and you can ask me questions there and just chat about what I've been up to. But it's really cool because when I was little, I was all into games a whole bunch. Me and my brother would always fight over playing the PlayStation 1. There's a game, Final Fantasy, that I would always play, and he hates that game with a passion because he would try and wake up before me, but for some reason I'd always wake up before him, and he'd wake up to the theme song of Final Fantasy playing, and he's all, I hate that game. He's all, I would always be planning to play PlayStation for a while whenever I wake up, and I'd wake up to that theme song and the PlayStation turning on. I'm all pissed off about that still. I was like, it's all good, man.
Now, how competitive was the setting up? I know that Javier recently built his area also, so how competitive was it there, you two setting up your computer systems?
I don't think we compete against each other. We use our things for different things. I use my setup for streaming and YouTube. He just does it mainly for video games and entertainment purposes. I do it for a variety of different things, but he has a really nice setup. I enjoy his setup, and I feel like we're not competitive against each other with our setups. We help each other out, and we're like, hey, this will look good, this will look bad. We just have two completely different, I guess, focuses. Mine's like an entire room, and his is like a little section. So we always give each other some pointers.
And for you mentioned Final Fantasy. I believe 7 just came out, or came out.
Remake.
That's what you've been playing?
Yeah, the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I haven't beat it yet, so I hear the ending's pretty crazy. I'm excited to get towards the end. I need to start playing that a little bit more. The reason I don't play it as much is because when I stream at night, all my friends jump on Apex, and we play kind of competitively. We're always trying to get some wins and win the Battle Royale, or we do ranked a lot too. So we're always on Apex pretty late. So
in
I
all,
need to get back on some of the RPGs.
Almost a nice vacation right now is what you're going through?
Somewhat. I wish I was working. I wish I was, furthering my career and, trying to take the next step. But, I mean, the world's all on a halt right now. So, kind of try and kick back, read, better myself, get my house situated. Just trying to get through this and hoping everything will open soon so I can get back to doing what I love and making money and putting people to sleep.
In February, we had seen you in action. You made that professional boxing debut. Now seeing that everything came to a halt in March, how happy are you to have had that experience, to have gotten that fight in?
I was super happy about boxing. I love boxing. Boxing was my first love, and that's what got me into martial arts and fighting in general. As a kid, I used to just box on the streets all the time. I don't know if any of you guys know, but I kind of grew up in El Paso as well. I moved from El Paso when I was about 11, almost 12 years old, and then I picked up my first boxing fight when I was 12. So I was boxing 9, 10 years old on the streets. Nothing like, no actual training or anything, but my friends knew a little bit here and there, knowing how to punch and showing me how not to break my hand, basically, and deliver a decent punch. And so that's kind of where I grew up, and that's where I kind of got my start, I guess you can say.
And now, did you have any time? Have you had an opportunity? Was anybody filming? Were you able to go look back at your boxing match?
I did. There's a fight on YouTube, my boxing match, and I didn't know it was on, so my little brother told me. I had done like a little questionnaire on Instagram, and someone asked about my boxing match if there was video, and I was like, shoot, I don't have any, and I don't know about any video. I went back and I saw rounds 2, 3, and 4 my way very easily.
So you feel better about your performance than you did even that night, or more, I guess, more definitively that you feel you won that night now?
I do, yeah. I felt like I should have won that fight. But it's boxing, you know. People see different things, and I don't know what the judges were looking at. One judge scored me for the win, and one judge scored me for a drop, and the other one obviously said I lost. So I don't even know what they were looking at. Like, the guy was running the whole time. He was on wobbly legs, you know, in a couple rounds, and I don't even know what to say. He didn't hurt me at all. He didn't phase me. I got cut, but I got cut from the headbutt. So maybe that swayed the judges. I can't really tell you.
Would that be one thing that you learned then from it, that in the heat of the moment, boxing is a little harder to kind of score for yourself as you're in there working to, okay, I'm sure I had that round versus...
I don't know. I felt like I had 2, 3, and 4. I felt like I lost the first round, but everyone knows I'm a slow starter, so I just kind of had to get in there and, you know, get my groove and you know, fill them out. I kind of try and, I don't say take the first round off, but I play the first round a lot more cautious in MMA and boxing in general. But I felt like I won 2, 3, and 4.
And now moving forward, was there any talks on the horizon before everything stopped? Was there any talks of what would be next for you?
There was speculation here and there, but nothing like set in stone or, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do this. So I was just kind of waiting, playing the waiting game like usual.
We know that we're looking at some of the bigger promotions. UFC obviously getting right back in it here in a couple weeks. Bellator
Right.
looking at the summer. Combate America, I haven't heard anything from them, and I believe you're still signed to them. So I think for them it'd also be the summer. Is that when you would want to get back to work?
I would like to fight as soon as possible. I would like to fight in a month if possible, you know. I would like, that's all I do. I fight, so me not fighting is really weird.
Right now, having taken the time off, been out of the gym, how long do you feel like it would take for you to, much of a camp would you need to be ready for a fight?
4 to 6 weeks, easy. Like I said, I stay in shape, so it's just kind of getting back in, getting my groove, and kind of just dusting the rust off.
Now, I believe you have roommates, so social distancing might not be the same for you. You're already living with people. So have you felt the kind of that effect being lonely, or no, you have a lot of people around anyway at the house?
No, not lonely so much. I guess more of boredom because we can't. A lot of times, me and my brother go out to the mall, to Barnes and Nobles or whatever on the weekends. And that's kind of like a routine. Every like Saturday, we wake up and we go hit the stores and buy whatever we want. And it's just kind of boring now. We just kind of hang out at home, and our store visits are to Walmart and go look at the board game sections. And we've been picking up a few board games, but it's not the same, you know.
So it's anything to fight the boredom almost.
Yeah, basically.
Has there been anything you guys been watching or anything else?
I honestly haven't been watching. Honestly, what we do in our spare time is just play games. My brother likes Fortnite for some reason. I don't know why. So I had downloaded just to hang out with him and kick back and play Fortnite here and there. Other than that's really. Oh, he's been watching Dragon Ball Z. He's been catching up on all the seasons of Dragon Ball Z. I think he's on the 7th season now. So I'm sure that's taking up a lot of his time. I don't sit down and watch it with him because I've seen it like a million times, but he'll have it on in the living room or in his room, and I'll hear him watching it all the time.
All right. Back to some of the MMA things. I saw like last week there was a company that still did fights over in Russia. We see the UFC pressing forward. Did you have any thoughts this way, that way, what people should be doing right now?
I think if everyone doesn't have like the coronavirus, like the fighters and the coaches, like why not let them fight without a crowd? To me, now I think it's such a big deal.
And did you see actually also there was a boxing event that went down? I believe it was Nicaragua last weekend. Did you see any of the stuff from that?
Really?
Yeah, they
No,
actually did it.
I didn't
So
even know that happened.
you can see it on ESPN. They still have some of the highlights. It was on ESPN Deportes. So it was like obviously the fighters didn't have masks because that would hamper your
Yeah.
breathing through the fight. But like they had the ref, the judges, all the commission, the trainers. Everybody had masks on. Everybody had gloves on. I guess they had taken all of the people involved, all of their temperatures. They had taken the fighters' temperatures like right before they went out, and then they had the crowd. I guess like a 10,000 seat arena that they had 1,000 people in. They went down to like a 10% of the arena, and they had people sit. I think it was like a yard apart, so about 3 feet apart.
Wow.
And they
Yeah,
still
I
did the
had no
boxing.
idea about that. That's pretty neat. So that's good for them. But I think all that's cool except the crowd. That obviously pretty fast and pretty easily. So we don't need to watch it on TV. In my opinion, I don't know. I'm no expert, so that's just my 2 cents.
Well, I know that's what they're speculating could be for a lot of sports. Major League Baseball's throwing out a bunch of options. I think I just saw yesterday that the NBA has contemplated renting out one of the Disney properties. They had previously talked about renting out one of the Vegas properties so that they could just quarantine off everybody from the league to kind of do the tournament. So it seems like a lot of big sports want to return, and it feels like fans won't be a part of the equation. Do you feel like that'll have, for a fighter, a big impact on the fight night experience?
I don't think that'd have a big impact. It'd probably feel a little bit different, but whenever I'm fighting, like, I zone out the crowd and I don't even hear the crowd. And when we go and spar, we don't got a crowd. We just got our teammates, and that'll probably be the equivalent, So I don't think it's such a big deal, and I think people need to continue on with their jobs, and we need to get paid.
Being a 49ers fan, and I know you're a huge 49ers fan, what did you think of the draft?
I thought it was pretty cool. I think they did well. They got a nicer wide receiver, and they got a defensive back to replace DeForest Buckner. So all the experts said that they did extremely well. So they traded up to get a couple first-round picks, and then they moved up with their wide receiver, even though he might have been available at 32, but they probably didn't want to take the chance and just moved up a few spots. And, why not?
Not to mention you get a starting lineman for a fourth-round draft pick in a trade. I love that move.
I agree, yes. Super awesome.
And you're thinking that this year we're going to be watching them in a fanless stadium?
I would hope so. I would like to go see them this year.
So, do you think it's going to be a lot of adjusting? Once we're talking about here in New Mexico, I believe the governor had issued a stay-at-home order now extended to the 15th, and there's rumors that tomorrow it could be extended out even further. What do you see happening here locally, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's going to stay like this actually for quite a while. At least a couple, 2, 3, 4 more months, because, we don't see no slowdown. There's always new cases, a ton of new cases daily, so it's spreading like a wildfire, so who knows when it's going to stop. I don't even know what to say about it. It sucks because I know I'll be fighting if it don't stop.
Have you thought about, right now, fighting with combates, put it in your head, when could they call me to fight again because of how long, when they haven't really made a statement when they could be getting back to wanting to put on an event?
Right. All I know is I believe my contract is up in August. I haven't talked about renegotiation. I'm assuming because of all this coronavirus, it's probably not even on their mind right now with anyone, if anyone's being released or re-signing or what's going on, but I don't even know. I don't even know what to think at this time of point. Just kind of taking it day by day, I guess. Letting all the experts do their job, then letting them try to find a cure, and hopefully we just get back to work sooner rather than later. But I don't see it within the next month. I can guarantee they're going to extend it, the stay-at-home order and all that.
It feels like that's what rumors are, and she extended it 2 weeks last time, so I guess we're getting probably 2 more weeks this time, and it'll be through the end of May.
Right. I would assume at least until the end of May.
Judging the climate,
maybe all summer. I couldn't even tell you.
Do you think this is how wild this is going to be? Just the state and everything, seeing how people are getting so antsy already. It feels like that, right?
Kind of. I don't go out too much, but it's just weird. Like when I go to Walmart and I just hear everyone like over the loudspeaker being like, giving us like announcements and put on your masks and just giving us commands through the loudspeaker.
It'll be nice to get back to normal one day, right?
Yeah, it would be nice to get back to normal. If our old normal will be even in play whenever all this is over, because now everyone's gonna be like all paranoid and then be like trying to be clean freaks, I'd assume, and I don't think it'll ever be how it used to be, which may be better. And I hear like the ozone is healing itself, and the earth isn't as polluted as it was, and that the LA skies you can actually see, and it's not like all cloudy and with all the fog from the pollution. Like that's all good signs, and maybe the planet just needed it,
That's a very good point. You talk about, I believe, our air quality locally better than it's ever been. I was seeing something in, is it India, that they can see the Himalayas for the first time in like 50 years or something.
Good for them.
I saw a video in Italy where, the canals that run through the streets, there were dolphins in those canals. They were crystal clear. You could see all the fish. I mean, there have been some,
That's awesome.
Kind of, it feels like the earth has recessed itself somewhat, and pollutants have went down globally, so that's been some good stuff. What's your advice? I know that you got a lot of fan base. What's been your advice to people right now in this time?
Just kind of pick up a hobby and don't go out of your way, and like I'm sure everyone has like older family members, and that's who I'm worried about, is like my older family members, or people that like have like respiratory problems, or any kind of sickness that can put them at risk. And I'm not worried about myself catching the virus. I'm worried about me spreading the virus to people that I care about that are older and that are high risk. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Because I'm sure my body will be fine and I'll be able to fight the virus, but it's everyone else. I can't be selfish at this time and point and be like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this. I want to travel here. I want to do this, or I want to do that. I just try and keep it in mind that I don't want to spread it to people I care about and potentially put them in life-threatening danger. Like, so basically, my advice to someone is pick up a hobby, try and kick back at home. Well, I don't know if they work from home or if you don't. If you work from home, great. You half your day is filled, and kind of better yourself while we're at home, and pick up some new books and educate yourself. It's good,
If you were able to fight right now, would you want to do it at 45, or would you even probably say, hey, I'm not trying to deplete my body at this current state? Would you rather not do that?
I would be comfortable at 50. I can make 50 easier than 45, obviously, I don't know. I didn't even think about that. That never ran through my mind. Like, I've always thought, like, oh, I fight at 145, that's what I'm going to make. I've never thought about going up to 150 or 155 or whatever. That's actually a great question. And, again, I'm not worried about catching the virus. If I catch a virus, I can catch it. I'll be sick for a week or two, whatever, how long it is. I'm sure I'll recover perfectly fine.
I feel like the biggest part for the fighters and the worry about any of them catching the virus would be around the fight, would be around the weight cut, because we've already seen how that weakens the kidneys, weakens the bodies. That's been my biggest trepidation about this. Is if we want to do catch weight fights all day, that might be just a little bit better, not weakening internally.
That's a great. That never ran through my mind, not knowing.
Gotta ask, I know also you're a Jordan fan. We've talked about this before. Have you been watching The Last Dance?
If I was a what fan?
A Jordan fan?
A Jordan fan? No, I've been seeing it here and there. I have not watched it. Like I tell you, I don't really watch too much TV. But I probably will catch it. I will catch up on it. It's really like.
Repeat that?
Is it really that good? The Last Dance?
Yeah, you got Jordan talking about his hate for the Pistons. You got Jordan talking about his work ethic. You got Jordan and Pippen cursing out Jerry Krause, the former GM. I mean, you got them drunk and all dancing at one point. You got them arguing at another. You got a story about Michael Jordan knocking on a hotel room door, and Carmen Electra said she's naked, wrapping herself up in a blanket and throwing herself behind a couch to hide because she's so embarrassed, as Jordan's waking up Rodman saying, "Come on, dude, you've been partying for too long. You got to come back to the team."
Yeah.
Yeah, dude,
wow.
It's hilarious. It's so far 4 hours in, and it's worth it.
Yeah, you may have got me to watch it tonight.
Andres, it's been great getting to talk to you. Good to see that you and Javier haven't, started beating each other up inside the house yet for sparring.
Nah, to be honest, we probably even got even closer in this quarantine. He actually just sold his car, and he's looking to pick up a nice little, I don't know if he wants a muscle car or something sporty,
That's cool. So you guys have become closer, you said, in this time?
I feel like we have. We've been hanging out more because a lot of times he has to leave to work. He comes back, and by the time he comes back, I'm gone. So we wouldn't see each other as much. Now we see each other a lot. Not to say that we were never close before, but we just didn't see each other as much as we do now. And it's really nice. I like it.
Being at home with somebody, finding that quality time and making great use of it, something we could all, learn a lesson from in this quarantine. That's great to hear, guys. And again, Andres, it was great getting to talk to you. And once again, tell everybody how they can keep up with you and how they can watch you on all these different streams.
You just follow me on Facebook and Twitter. They're all the same. It's Bullet Quintana. And then on my YouTube and my Twitch is Andres Q MMA. So you guys